They want attacking purposeful football all the time. Now we're going to have backs against the wall and we're going to fight, and we're going to fight hard. You've got to show me all the guts and all the determination you've got in your body. You've got to inspire me.
A marvellous kick. That's as good as you'll ever see. And puts player back in front.
I don't know about you guys, but if I see one bloke walking out of here, give the pat on the back from people out there for a good effort, I'll spew up.
From inside the centre square. Boys kick the goal. Boys kick the goal. From inside the centre.
Hey Pack, welcome to Danny Boyd, a podcast about the team that's on the top of the ladder. Hey, I'm Danny McGinlay, Mark Stevens is with me. We are in Magic McLean Studios at Rancho Stevo. Well, Dogs fans, there's a lot to talk about. We're top of the league. We played a game that almost felt like a loss, but wasn't. That's pivotal. And now, what's really annoyed me, Stevo, is after... If you'd said to me at the start of the year, hey, Bulldogs going to be 4-0, I would have bitten your hand off for it. I would absolutely love that. Because then you'd go, oh, sweet. And then, because everyone's been saying we've got a really hard fixture at the top and then we can relax for a bit. Now suddenly we're playing the four best teams in the competition.
We are, Danny. Yeah, good to be here.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, mate. I've just got to actually turn the mic on. There you go.
Thanks for that, Danny. We need a tech here at Rancho Stevo, but... We have got a tough fixture, but I've got to say, last time I checked, we're playing four teams below us on the ladder. So that's a big opportunity. I remember saying that to Peter Gordon, the prez after the 16 flag going into 17. I said, gee, they've given us a tough draw, the AFL.
Oh, really?
He said, what are you talking about?
You're so Danny from Droop Street sometimes.
Yeah, I said, what are you talking about? He said, Peter said every team's below us. So it's a good fixture. So we can still do it, obviously, but to be 4-0's a great result.
Exactly.
I had a mate of mine at the footy on the weekend. He said, I don't know how to feel after that. I said, relax. 4-0, took the foot off the pedal a little bit. Yep. Go and have a beer. We've won by 35 points. You take that every day of the week.
Absolutely. I've rewatched the highlights a few times. And that's the beauty of living with a 12-year-old boy. He's just got them on repeat, and I can just pop in. And I've got a theory, and this is very, very glass half full. And I realise I'm being my classic over optimist thing. So notice at the start, like Bont, Kennedy, our absolute veterans dominated. I reckon at quarter time, Bevo said to Bont and Kennedy, back off a little. Because I notice in the midfield, there's one passage of play where it's like Sanders giving it to Fraser, giving it to Dolan, who I think played such a breakout game, Artie Junk, and then get it to Jones. It almost was like playing the twos whilst the seniors were around.
Yeah, that's the positive. Obviously, Sanders got some more game time.
Yep.
We saw more of Dolan. Fraser gets in there. So... maybe Bevo was working on that. Maybe we're giving him too much credit. But Bont sort of went quiet, didn't he?
He did.
Bont put the cue in the rack, and Kennedy just kept ploughing along as he does.
Yeah.
But I've got to say, it's a different look without Richards out there. You'd start to take these guys for granted a bit. Suddenly Richards out and Libba. For me, this is a big call, but the Bulldogs without Libba doesn't feel the same. Libba for me is the heartbeat barometer, everything about the doggies, and if he plays on the weekend, he has 35, and the Dogs win by a lot more.
Is it? I feel since everyone knows, frequent listeners will know Stevo loves a rock and roll analogy. Is it like Van Halen without David Lee Roth?
Well, I'm actually not a David Lee Roth Van Halen.
Okay, damn it.
I'm a Sammy Hagar man. So
I'm out of my depth.
Sammy Hagar obviously came in later on for Dreams and all those big hits. So.
Okay, well, to use my one, is it like Seinfeld without Larry David?
Potentially.
Okay.
Although I'm not Larry David man.
Well, no, I'm a everything Seinfeld man.
Yeah, but he was the weak link for me.
You reckon?
You're looking at Kramer.
No, Larry David was his co-creator.
Who's Kramer again?
Kramer's Michael Richards.
Yeah, Michael Richards. But Kramer was an irritating character for me.
Oh, you're off your head,
I like
Steve-o.
George.
God.
George.
We've been doing, so ever since, George was based on Larry David.
Yeah.
Listeners will know that Stevo's stepped up to the plate this year, and we've seen more of each other than we ever had before. I think we're due our first blue, and it could be over whether Kramer or George, although we also have strong opinions about air fryers, which are going to come up later.
Yeah, they will, and I missed you in Top Dogs this week. There was a bit of a ticket mix-up.
Yes.
Luckily, I was with Mark Hunter, my
dad.
good mate. Lockie's dad. We're having a beer before the game. He had a couple of spares into the Medallion Club, so I was able to shuffle a couple of people into Top Dogs, my daughter and a few other friends. So that went well. But I've got to say, I missed the Top Dogs experience, the Bulldog fellowship, the passion and the feel. It's a little bit
never been less relatable than right now.
Well, it was homogenised. I'm not a Medallion Club operator.
It's like complaining to. So our listeners are like, salt of the earth economy flyers. You're complaining that first class wasn't as good as business.
The Top Dogs is a homely feel.
Top Dogs,
a coterie group. It's a
coterie. If you get a
coterie.
chance to be in Top Dogs, my friends, please get in there because that's a family.
Yeah, you can obviously join. It is a family, and it's salt of the earth type of characters.
Whereas, so what was wrong with Medallion Club?
Look, for starters, there's Essendon supporters there, so it's filtered in half and half. Yep. Very corporate.
Surely there's more Essendon fans in Medallion.
They're probably Leho Fook, is it? The restaurant there is in Medallion, or Holy Fook. Probably can't say that. Leho Fook, the Chinese restaurant, that looked all right. You could get a heavy beer, you could do all that, but a little bit sanitised. You're sitting on the wing, but there was plenty of space there. A bit quiet, like the theatre shows type of action, whereas the Top Dogs is always passionate.
Yeah.
Win or lose, and you're with your brotherhood. Yeah,
and there's the past players mixed in with the Top Dogs there, so you get to so I do. For those who don't know, I do the emceeing of Top Dogs, and I chatted to Rodney Eade before the game, and he actually gave us a bit of he gave the Dogs fans a bit of a spray, which I liked. He was talking about, and I think he's mentioned it on the pod, he said of all the clubs he's been associated with, it was like 7 clubs. He coached Gold Coast, coached the Swans, coached the Dogs, played at Hawthorn, was director of football at Collingwood. He's done a whole lot there. He said Dogs fans are the nicest, and that can be a bad thing. Like when we won the flag, everyone was just like, I can die happy. I've seen us win one flag. Whereas he said Hawthorn fans would be, when's the next one? They're entitled. Yeah. And we all know Hawthorn fans are absolutely entitled. But he said that can be a good thing, and we need to expect more of our club. Yeah,
I agree. At times, people are happy. It's been 10 years now since the last one, and Bevo would say, look, it's time for another one.
Oh, definitely.
And we remember that family day where I think it was the first real big function back after the grand final. I think they were going to play the song or celebrate the premiership, and Bevo kind of shut it down. Remember that?
Yeah, I do. I was disappointed by that.
So you tried to move on quickly, but I think you've got to celebrate.
Absolutely.
Your successes, the reunions coming up, I'm thinking probably
against the Swans.
Yeah, so it's only a few weeks away.
And I've got to say, I disagree with that as well. Like, if you're going to do it against any... Because I don't want the Swans to be fired up about it. They're still angry about certain umpiring decisions and whatnot. Why are we doing it against Sydney? Like, any other club, we should be, rubbing it in. We should have done it against Essendon.
Some symmetry.
10 years since their wooden spoon.
Yeah, I agree. Or maybe later in the year against Richmond when finally the Dogs get some teams that are down the lower end.
Yeah.
I mean... The Dogs this year, when you're looking at the fixture, it's best not to look at it because we play all the good sides twice before you get a crack at Richmond and West Coast and these stragglers. So they've done the Dogs no favours. It'll be interesting, obviously, coming into this week. But, I felt positive. You just take the win. I mean, the line bet was, I think, 72 points.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the betting, it was $1. So that's what's called an unbackable favourite.
Yeah, I know.
And I'd never seen that before. So I think you just take the victory because we all saw what happened against West Coast a couple of years back when the Dogs were similar, about $1.01, $1.02, and got rolled late in the season. Yeah. I mean, even I also interviewed Riley Garcia and Zach Walker, who's one of our new recruits. He's a lovely kid, by the way. Riley Garcia was we were talking about being the unbackable favourite. You had him again.
I had him again
every week.
He's in Top Dogs every week because he's got that weird hamstring injury.
Yeah, he said last time that it's related, he says, to his ACL.
That's correct, yeah.
It sounds like they obviously take a hamstring tendon to repair the ACL, and then sometimes that can cause a weakness.
They must have taken the wrong one.
So when's he back?
He still doesn't know, 4 or 5 weeks. That's very vague. I mean, we are checking the injury lists a lot this week. What's the latest? So you're working at Zero Hanger. I'm sure you're getting the latest injury reports. English, Richards, what's going on?
Well, I reckon as we do this now, what time is it on Tuesday? There'll be an update shortly, I believe. But the Richards one's a bit weird.
Yeah, he was very late.
Yes.
So I'm interviewing Riley Garcia on stage, and I said, "Who do you think's going to play well?" And he goes, "I reckon Richards." And someone yelled out, "He's not playing!"
Yeah,
and there's nothing more embarrassing than being a representative of the club hosting a show and having the audience give you facts.
Yeah, so that was a weird one. A tendon behind the knee, and when you hear tendon behind the knee mention, it rarely ends in good news.
Okay.
So it's a mystery. I would say 2 to 4 best case. Worst case, it's even weirder because whenever you hear a tendon involved, it's a concern. Maybe warming up too much these days. Terry Wallace created this pre-game warm-up. If he hadn't have gone out there, maybe that wouldn't have happened. Over warming up.
Really? Is there any medical evidence
Probably
behind
not.
that? Okay.
When I play grade cricket, you obviously don't warm up and no one gets injured. So you're not moving as quick as Ed Richards. So that's a worry. Tim English and MCL as Pepsi the dog has a bit of a walk there as someone comes to the door. But 2 to 4 weeks.
2 to 4 weeks. This is a bad time to. So who comes in? Because Lob went off late as well.
Yeah, I think Lob will be fine. Artie Jones, another hamstring. That was really sad. Like just as he broke out, I'm thinking Artie. He reminded me. You're probably too young for this. He reminded me of Les Bamblett.
Yeah, I'm too
a bit
young
in
for
the
that. Tell me about
85
that.
because he was good overhead, good on the ground. Artie took a couple of hangers.
Oh, mate, there was one where he outmarked Darcy and Norton.
Yeah, it didn't say a lot about the aerial strength of Essendon's backline, but Artie looked dangerous in air, and then, of course, he's done another hammy, 2 to 4.
Yeah.
So he's got a history of that, so that's a concern.
Do you ever have those really stupid thoughts at the footy? And this is one of the dumbest things I've ever thought, and it definitely... So when Artie got his first mark and goal, someone in my WhatsApp group who was watching from home just put in, Artie! And I looked at that, and then I looked up, and Artie took his second mark because he just went bang, bang. And for a second, I went, I've got to put my phone away. He's ahead. Like, he's watching KO and he's a few minutes ahead. I was at the game live.
Yeah.
My brain somehow thought.
Yeah. You're doing too many cashies.
I think
you're
I am.
losing track of. You're hosting that many rooms there and that many envelopes going around that you're losing track of what's going on. But the injuries are a worry. Obviously, Libba, I think my information is another week. So, yeah, and they won't rush him back at his age either. And of course, then Treloar pulled out of the VFL with general soreness, which fingers crossed is no more than general soreness.
Yeah.
So when you look at it, I don't want to be a doomsayer, but English, Liberatore, Richards, Treloar. It's virtually an all-Australian midfield.
Yeah,
it's not
dead
playing
right.
at the moment. So it'd be great to get Treloar back. Libba will be back, but
and we're up against Hawthorn, who not only are up and about, 1 point win over Geelong, they've had our number for the last. I don't think we've beaten them since like 2022.
They seem to move it well against us. This will be a test of the new Dogs' defensive setup because they tend to get the Dogs out the back, move the ball well. In that final, they played so well at the G Hawthorn a couple of years back. They just dismantled the Doggies.
That was the worst day at the MCG since the 97 prelim. That was horrible.
Yeah,
anyway,
nothing's worse than that. That was the night Jamara started on the bench and everyone wondered why, and then we found out why.
Why in case anyone doesn't know?
Well, it was all issues obviously off field and leadership discussions. Do we play him? Don't we play him? In the end, they put him on the bench and he obviously had an average game. I think that was Jamara's last game for the club.
Yeah.
So, and then the Dogs got rolled. But Hawthorn are going to be tough. I was watching that game yesterday. Jack Gunston, obviously.
Yeah, he's done his hammy.
Grabbed the hammy.
Good.
But he came back on.
He did.
But I've been around footy long enough. Whenever you grab the hammy like that on the lead, you miss a few weeks.
Especially if you're an older
Yes,
player.
he came back, but I'm not sure how they got him back on. So he got through the match. I don't think he'll play. Sicily's got a sore shoulder. But it's not going to be easy against Hawthorn over at Gather Round. And
they play well at the Adelaide Oval.
Yeah, so the Dogs, this will be the third interstate trip in 5 games.
And we're going back to Adelaide.
And going back to Adelaide again. It's just a bizarre fixture.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Ugh. Yeah, I'm genuinely nervous. I was watching the Cats Hawks game, just going, just fight a bit more. Come on, hurt each other because we got Geelong a week after that down at Cardinia.
I think Danger will be back for that.
Oh, good.
So players tend to come back for the Dogs. Isaac Rankin, he waited months. Right. Of course, he was with the slur. He came back just in time, and then of course he kicked that goal to look like it was curtains for the Dogs.
Oh yeah. We didn't talk about that. I was with Boydie after that game.
That was amazing. And the other issue. Maybe it's just me thinking this way, but coach sackings tend to happen a lot before dog games.
I've proved this on this
Can we
pod.
go through the stats?
Absolutely.
It's overwhelming.
It's happened. I did it since 2000, and it's happened to us 16 times.
Right.
And the closest other one was like 13.
Really?
Yeah.
So that means Vossi's going to be sacked before we play Carlton?
Yes. I was amazed Brad Scott wasn't sacked.
Yeah. I was just so relieved that they managed to at least be respectable in their last game because I had a feeling that was going to happen. But and while I was in the Medallion Club, Essendon supporters were pretty chuffed. Wow, we've
Man,
turned
yeah.
the corner. Well, they're kidding themselves because
Isn't that
it
just-
wasn't great.
It's like the Bizarro world here, where the dogs again. Because I said this about the Crows game, it was a very un-Bulldogsy match where we sort of had the upper hand. The other team came back, and then we managed to ice it, which I feel has been the opposite of how the most of my life has gone. This felt very un-Bulldogsy in that, with another honourable loss for our opponents because we'd already done the damage.
Yeah.
It's rare we do that. Normally we put the foot on the throat, whereas here we kind of went, all right, no.
Yeah. And
do what you want.
We kicked 7 straight behinds in the third quarter. That
Yes.
gets lost. I mean, if you kick 4 goals 3 or 5 goals 2, then you win by 10 goals. So
Yeah.
I don't think that was a terrible third quarter. We should have kicked at least 4 goals. We're getting the ball in 50 a lot. So I think Essendon are kidding themselves if they think it's some sort of new dawn happening there.
Oh, no.
There's not a lot there to like. That's 17 a row losses.
Which is a club record for them.
Yeah, I think that'd be, and I've followed the Doggies a long, long, long time, since the early 80s when I was a young kid. I don't think we've ever had 17.
No.
Maybe 80, 82.
Where we came last?
Yeah, we're struggling around the
Yeah.
late 70s, early 80s, really struggled. I don't think we've gone...
No, even 2003, I think we won 3 games in that 23 game season. And I'm actually, this is controversial, Dogs fans, and just hear me out. I'm so stoked we were terrible in 2003. Because in 2003, I met this really beautiful woman and because the Dogs were so terrible, she would say, hey, what are you doing this weekend? I went, oh, no, I'm free. I'd love to. Yeah, let's go out. Let's do that. And she had no idea how into footy I was. I was checking scores. All right, we lost again. Yeah, hey, my team won. Hey, it doesn't matter.
But everything was happy.
Everything was happy, and it was only years later when we start getting good again, and I'm getting really loud watching on the couch. She's going, oh, do you care?
Right. And you're still together.
Still together.
Where were you going? Still in trendy sort of hipster bars in Northcote? Or?
2003, I was working I was doing like night shift at Fox FM. So really, because I was working graveyards and
what, producing or
No, I was on air.
DJ?
Yeah, I was a DJ.
Disc jockey?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'd rarely see her. So the few times we did see her, no, we didn't spend much time outdoors.
Yeah. Okay. So
Lust
what was
at
it
first
like
sight.
doing the graveyard shift on radio? Because a lot of the music's sort of already plugged in, isn't it?
Yeah.
No,
I did the transition from when you had to like program it yourself, as in like you had a run sheet with all the songs you should play, but you'd have to manually type in which songs and everything, and then it became automated, and you just sort of had to stand there in case it stuffed up. And then it got automated, and I got moved to Triple M because it's the same company, and I was doing Melbourne and Sydney graveyards.
Right.
And there was a guy in Sydney pressing buttons, and then I got because you always get the Melbourne weirdos ringing you up, and then I got the Sydney weirdos as well, and they were
You turn into a weirdo yourself.
Oh, yes.
Doing that shift.
yeah. I kind of dug it.
So what time was midnight till
6 a.m.
midnight to dawn, basically?
Yeah, that's what they were called, mid-dawns.
Right.
And do you know the most? I can tell this story now. Statute of limitations. This was getting towards the end of my career because I could see the writing on the wall. They were going to replace me with the computer. The guy who was in charge of Triple M Sydney was named Fitzy. And Fitzy was also the anchor of the breakfast show, which was called The Cage back then.
That's not the same Fitzy that ended up head of content at Triple M.
No, it is him. Yes.
I knew Fitzy.
Yeah.
I worked with him. He gave me the arse at Triple M, actually.
He's given many people the arse. He's not well liked. And then eventually Lawrence Mooney got him sacked, but that's a whole different podcast story. But anyway, from like 4 a.m, you've got to start, as we would say, forward selling the breakfast show. You know, who's coming up, who they're talking to. And I remember, like, it gets to like 5 a.m. You're pretty tired, you're delirious, and I'm like, say they were talking to you, Mark Stevens. I would just be like, all right, coming up from 6 a.m, the best episode of The Cage you'll ever hear. They're talking to Mark Stevens. They're going to talk to AC/DC. You can win tickets to blah blah blah. And because I'd said that, the best episode ever, suddenly the studio phone starts ringing. That's when, usually from the bosses. And I pick it up and it's Fitzy's going, mate, what are you doing? And I go, what do you mean? He goes, best episode ever. Why are you overselling it? And I said to him, maybe if you stopped calling me and did some prep, it could be the best episode.
That was it for you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. What was he doing tuned in at that hour?
Mate, well, he was about to go on air, so I assume he set his alarm for 4:30.
Oh, yeah. So I only knew him as a manager. So he was running Triple M Melbourne, basically. Lee Simon was head of footy.
Yeah,
and then he was head of contact. Well, Lee Simon's just a legend.
He is. Is he still at Triple M?
No, he's retired now. Lives around the corner here.
Fair enough.
In Richmond. But, yeah, the interesting world, the radio world, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
But I know people who... A lot of the shows are pre-recorded now. I know Sean Cosgrove very well, who's the voice of The Price is Right. Like, come on down.
Come on down. Yes, that's right. I met him at one of your events.
Yeah. So he was working at RSN 927, but also doing the Magic, I think, 693 breakfast show. But that was pre-done.
Yeah, all right.
So it was pre-recorded. He just, everything was pre-programmed, and he just voiced little bits and pieces in the middle. So I reckon they do that with Smooth too, don't they?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, who listens to radio anymore? All I'm listening to is you're listening to podcasts. Or
put on Smooth. If I'm a bit edgy in the car and the traffic's bad, I'll put on Smooth. Richard Wilkins, what a beautiful day.
My favourite thing. Yeah. We have gone so off topic, everyone. But if I've got a late night gig between 11 and 11:30 on Light FM, which is the Jesus station here in Melbourne, they pump in this American conservative show, and I love listening to it. I love them. Just like people ring in and just like, my teenage son's in his room and there's a lot of tissues everywhere. What do you think's happening?
Right.
And they go, he's praying to Jesus.
Not good.
No. All right.
So I didn't know you were in a DJ, but you're doing a great job, obviously, at Top Dogs. And
thank you, sir.
The other news around the Dogs at the moment, you mentioned who could come in. I mean, Louis Emmett, I think, is red hot tip to play. Obviously, he was picked in the 20s. Went a bit lower than expected. He's a tall who can play forward back, plays in the ruck, and I think he kicked 3 on the weekend VFL.
Yeah, I'm just going to check the stats of our VFL.
I think I've mentioned him a bit earlier in this podcast, another time that he was close for round 1. So if English is out as expected, I would think that Emmett comes in, Louis Emmett. I keep calling him Emmett Dunn.
So this is our new ruckman, is he? How?
Yeah, we can do everything. So he can pinch hit, ruck, play back, forward.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to predict what they'll do. I thought Crofty was all right in the ruck. So the way Bevo thinks, I'm just thinking this is going to be a hybrid thing. I don't think he'll bring in Smith as a backup ruckman. I just think the way modern footy is, the speed of it and the jump, that he won't get a role.
Which Smith are you talking there?
Lockie Smith.
Lockie Smith is our official backup ruckman, is he? All right, so not Emmett.
Well, Emmett's a ruck size. He's 200. He can easily play ruck.
Okay.
But looking at it, I think my prediction is that he'll use Rory Lobb, Croft, maybe
and Darcy.
Emmett, and he got Darcy.
Yeah.
So Darcy is a little bit out of sorts. Sort of looks damaging, just not kicking as well. Maybe it's the groin or the hip injury that he's had, or...
Could be. I really enjoyed the mark he took to set up the first goal. It was down on centre wing, and because he's young, and after an 18-day break, the younger guys take a while to get in. But he's just got that extra 10 centimetres. It was he grabbed the ball, and he had like 3 Essendon players on him, but it was like when your older brother's like taking your toy off you, and he's just holding it off you, and like they were trying to frantically get it, but he's just got that extra few centimetres.
Yeah, he's got it. He's just missing a few shots now. I think in the end. And I was worried about this because I always think about negative. The hype in the pre-season, probably not helpful.
Yeah.
I think that just put pressure on him. He's probably looks like, to be honest, you can try too hard in footy.
Yeah.
He may even be trying too hard.
Well, I saw. I did see Will Darcy just in the crowd.
Kick 3.
He's big. He's looking good.
Yeah, he's tall, very skinny.
Yeah.
When you say big, there's not a lot of him, but I think he's a bargain.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
So I think Emmett will come in. Obviously, I think Gallagher played well in the 2. So
our leading possession getters were Cooper Craig Peters. What an odd name.
Odd name. Very private schoolish, isn't it?
But there's so many. Craig and Peters, 2 first names, and Cooper as a surname. I love
there's
this.
3 first names.
We've got to call him backwards, man.
Yeah. Well, he's not on the list.
Oh, is he VFL only?
VFL only. So,
okay. Nick Caulfield got 27
touches. Looks good.
I like Nick
Do we need another? I think he looks a lot fitter this year.
Yep.
I like him. He's great to have there as a backup.
We've also got Buslinger.
Yeah.
Buslinger's
we may
always
see him
just
at some
lurking.
stage. So there is a bit of depth there.
Yeah.
I would think that losing Richards, would Lockie McNeil stay in?
Man, we got to give credit to him playing 2 games in a row at that level. That's pretty impressive.
Oh, it's pretty good, but I wouldn't keep him in the side. Well, it's true. At least
He's a whipping boy for so many people.
I'm being honest.
Yeah, sure.
He's a great guy. I like the way he has a crack, but I'd prefer to see Gallagher or someone come in.
Okay.
For him, I just don't see him in the best side at the moment. He did a job, filled a role. But you've also got a question. I know that you back your people in. It's rare should they have had an emergency fresh?
Yeah.
Why not? Most clubs, I believe, would have someone sitting there.
When you're playing Essendon in the VFL, I mean, I don't want to, do you know where they are on the ladder? They're 18th.
Yeah. But we could have kept one out, and then. But the thing is, I suppose,
maybe someone came in for Treloar, that person who was sitting out.
Yeah, but you always have a spare, right? Who doesn't play just in case.
Right.
So one of the emergencies doesn't play in case they have to play 2 games in a row. If you've got 5 on the bench now, and Bevo would have probably calculated this, you could probably get away with it with that extra person on the bench. But surprising that they just didn't have somebody sit out and stay fresh in case there was a late change. But Lockie McNeil, look, I'm being honest, and I think most of our listeners to this podcast would agree. I'd play him in the VFL.
Okay, all right. Well, I disagree.
I know
I
that's
love
a
him,
negative,
but that's me. I would play if I was in charge of match committee, we'd have 42 in the seniors. So
yeah. Oh, we love them all, but I'd prefer to see other guys get a go. Keeper Hines, Gallagher. I think they'll need a bigger body over in Adelaide, someone with a bit of experience. And Harvey is a pretty good player.
Yeah. So how do you reckon? How do you see it? Because I'm a world of emotions in that. We've never won a gather round. Hawthorn just have had the wood on us. I just, I'm worried.
Yeah, you feel like we're always pessimistic, aren't we?
We are, yeah.
You feel like probably due to drop one. But Hawthorn are off a short break. They'll have a letdown after the big game. They carried on like it was a premiership, which is fair enough. It was 84,000 there. And the Dogs queue in the rack. They've already had a run at Adelaide Oval, had a win there, so there'll be good vibes.
Yep.
I think it'll be tight. The Dogs are too well organised this year, too confident. They've got Bont, who I've been calling Michael Jordan all year. He has become.
Has he got gambling habits?
No. He's become the Michael Jordan. He's on another level.
Yeah, okay.
So
I like this.
Yeah, so that's good. English is a worry for us. No English, because I thought he was absolutely dominating that game.
Yeah.
And once he went off, not the same.
And then we play the Cats down at the Cattery again. I know we requested because of the Western Corridor, but that
must be bull dust. Why would I know Amit Baines listens to this show? Why would Amit Baines request a game at Geelong? That's wrong. It's
so
a
we
myth.
can get those few fans.
Wouldn't you rather play them at Marvel?
I agree. Yeah, I would love to. We haven't played them there since 2023.
Who puts up their hand to play down at the Cattery?
Well, for the few fans who've moved who thought Werribee was a bit too close to the city, so they move even further away. And
Hoppers?
Yeah, Hoppers closer than Werribee, isn't it? Yeah.
Similar, aren't they?
Similar, yeah, absolutely.
Lara?
So I don't know. I would love to play. Also, considering the AFL has that annoying thing where if a high-profile player leaves a club, they don't let him play at the opposition.
Bailey Smith
ground.
must play against the Dogs at Marvel next year.
I wonder how many times he's played for Geelong.
If you're listening, can you just put that on top of the list?
Yeah.
Just add a bit of drama.
Absolutely. I was wondering.
If Jamara gets back against Gold Coast, you watch, the Dogs won't play there for the next 10 years.
No,
they
won't Darwin.
They'll put in Darwin or Cairns or somewhere else. Yeah. So I'd know to check that. I'm going to check with them, mate, that's true. That can't be.
Yeah, please.
Which club in Australia is putting up their hand to play a game at the Cattery?
And I wonder how many times Bailey Smith has played for Geelong at Marvel. Has he played there yet? I mean, I don't follow their fixture that closely, but
not very often.
Because we got to because remember last time when we played them at the Cattery last year, Bailey Smith said in the post-game interview no one really gave him any niggle, they didn't pay attention, and he played well and he was relieved by that. Maybe we should do the opposite.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where I'll play. I'll be the emergency and I'll just get out there. I mean, surely he'll run off me, but as long as I can get in his ear for a little bit.
Yeah. No, it'll be a good game. They're all big games this year. I just think if we get to 6-2, you'd take that.
Oh, of course, absolutely. But as soon as you get 4 and zip, you dream of 28 and zip.
Yeah, but I'm watching a few of the other clubs. Freo look powerful.
They do.
They look consistent. They should have beaten Geelong down there. They'd be 4 and zip. Sydney look powerful. Brisbane look a bit scary against Collingwood. So it's not going to be easy, Danny, just to let you know. I don't think we're certainties at this stage.
Why can't it ever be easy? Why can't we ever get one of those? We all dream. Essendon in 2000 just ruined all footy fans. Going, why can't we have that year?
Yeah.
God.
But I was there, luckily, for the game we won.
Yeah,
working at the Herald Sun. And I remember it was one of the highlights. Like, I'm supposed to be an impartial supporter. Go down to the rooms and Terry, my old mate Plough's giving me a huge bear hug and ruffled my hair and everything in front of everyone. He was hugging everyone that night, Plough.
Mate,
a great man.
He told us the story about how the Jacksonville Jaguars came up with that game plan.
Yeah.
It's on an old episode of Danny Boyd. Please go back and listen. But
he's an absolute ripper, Plough.
Yeah, he is.
And, I've kept in touch with him. And
we should get him back on.
yeah, he was before his time. I remember at the Herald Sun, it was just a stupid gimmick, really. During a final, we put a heart monitor on him to see,
He was
how
always
the
up for
hearts
that.
go up. Yeah, all that type of
Yeah.
stuff. So he was that. I called him a snowplow because he was the man of ice, cold as ice. His heart rate never changed.
Really?
Yeah.
Zen Master.
Snowplow. I like that headline.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
What's the best headline? You journalists, it's the sub-editor's job to come up with the...
But I've been a sub as well, so I've done that. But
Is there one you're particularly proud of?
Well, I was pretty happy with that. The snowplow.
Snowplow's good. Yeah. But like,
There was a few
the
racing
sun-
puns. There was one, Smells Like Teen Spirit, which was a great. I think it was it was a teenage jockey one on a horse called Scent of something.
Oh, okay.
And I went with Smells Like Teen Spirit. I read
that's
Teen
nice.
Spirit. It was a play on Nirvana, obviously.
Yeah.
I'd need to look up the race. It was in spring, so I was happy with that one. But we had a lot of fun with headlines.
The ones in the Sun in the UK, they're the best.
Yeah.
They're the gold standard.
Yeah, well, the truth were good here.
The famous one is when Elton John got married, and it was Elton takes David up the aisle.
Yeah, that's good. But the famous truth one was Billy Snedden, Sir Billy Snedden, who died on... Well, I think the headline was he died on the job.
Oh,
And we all know what that job was.
Right. I don't know
you need
this
to
story.
Google it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we are going for the Patreons. We're going to slip behind the paywall in just a sec because we actually have a massive revelation about a certain co-host of this podcast.
It's a family revelation.
Family revelation. You don't want to
Close
miss
and
this.
personal, emotional.
Yeah, and by the way, a lot of the Patreons did come along to my comedy festival show. Thank you so much, and a lot of people came to the Ukraine fundraiser where we raised $5,000 for Ukraine crisis appeal. And so yeah, thanks to everyone. Go see a show if you're out and about. I'm just doing spots now, but support.
Yep.
I know everyone's doing it tough, and a lot of the comedians' numbers are right down. If you're wondering if a comedian which footy team they go for, I can help you out. There are a few, especially the international comics. I've got them to go for the Bulldogs.
Great.
I've talked to him.
Yep.
Have you heard of
Yep.
Daniel Sloss? He's got several Netflix specials.
Sloshed. Sounds like he's had a few too many.
Oh, definitely. We've got on the beers
Right.
together.
Sloshed.
Sloss. SLOSS. He's a Dogs man now, and he's playing Hamer Hall. So,
Where's he based?
Edinburgh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is Edinburgh such a comedy capital?
Because they've got the biggest
Funny
comedy
guy.
festival in the
Well,
world.
you've got to laugh there. The weather's that bad.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a beautiful town.
I
But
think Glasgow's funnier.
Yeah.
Kevin Bridges, Billy Connolly.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's someone more famous from Glasgow, but that's a music thing.
Is that? Oh, it's this
Jimmy Kerr.
Jimmy. Oh, we talked about this.
Yeah,
and I've
yeah.
forgotten what band is he?
Simple Minds. So
Ah,
Jim
that's the
Kerr.
one.
But no, I didn't quite get to your show, unfortunately. It's Spleen Bar, wasn't it? So how's
It was.
Spleen going? I used to be a regular there
Yeah,
when I
it's
worked
great.
at Parliament.
Yeah, no, good toasties.
Grungy.
It is very grungy. Open till 5 a.m. no matter what.
Yeah.
Which is
So you were
great.
downstairs?
No, I was in the back bit of it. They curtain it off.
Okay.
But it's a good pub run by good people. Or bar, not really a
Yeah.
pub. But yeah, they don't show the footy, which is not ideal.
It's hipstery, isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
rock.
Grunge.
Grunge.
Yeah.
Grunge is a good term for it.
Well, I was working at the National Party at that stage, and
Yeah.
I don't really think it's a National Party type haunt, to be honest, but I used to go there.
Well, you're not a very national party
Not
type
really.
guy.
I'm a country guy.
You live in a city.
Yeah.
You love your rock and roll.
Yeah. I'm a country boy, though.
Yeah, all right.
So I like to support small business and farmers and these type of things.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit of a conundrum.
You are. Yeah, you're
and a Bulldog support. How many Bulldog supporters
No, exactly.
would
You're
have
alienating our
worked
audience.
from the National Party?
I should just point out I am a paid up member of my union, so
Yeah, it was a job.
We're,
It was
we're
a job.
representing
Yeah.
both sides here.
Yeah. So it's a complex world, but no, the spleen.
And Boydie's off working for Donald Trump, so it's
Oh, Boydie definitely. Well, Boydie wears the RM Williams and all that. He
does.
does wear the National Party kit.
yeah, he's got the uniform.
I've got a rugby jumper for him. I should give him. Yeah.
All right, we're talking about everything except the Dogs. Hey, brilliant. Hey, we'll talk next week after Gather Round. I'm heading over. You're not heading over for your.
No, I got a horse running at Caulfield on Saturday, first chorus.
All right,
So if
good
any
luck.
Bulldog wants to get on it, in with a couple of Bulldog supporters. The top Chris Byrne and Nick Johnston, who's son of Alan, the number one ticket holder. Great Bulldog people.
Win?
It's a big chance to win. So good value each way bet. But it's won 4 of its last 5.
All right, that's
so it's
good.
a real Bulldog flavour.
All right.
Yes, we'll be at Caulfield on Saturday with Nick and Chris. And Darren Davies is in the horse too, who played
Darren
Buzz.
Davies kicked. I had that game against Collingwood where we beat him in 1990, where Collingwood kicks the winner. Actually, the commentary here at the start of this podcast is Bruce McAvaney commentating that match.
Collingwood, wasn't it? We ran around.
It's not from that one, but
he ran around Graham Wright.
It's not for that goal, that's correct. But I remember Darren Davies kicked like 4 goals in the first half.
Yeah, good player.
Right.
And he's in on the horse. He lives around the corner too. So it's all happening here in Rancho Stevo 3121.
In these financial times, what a great investment than to bet on a horse that some random guy on a podcast.
Remember that. First chorus, inside mail. Get on board and we'll revisit this next week if I'm on the show and Tom's not here, because I'm still a bit of a fill-in.
You win some, you lose more. Yeah. What are you really gambling with? All right, by the way, watch the front bar. I work for that show. Anyway, we're going behind the paywall. Go Dogs.
I gave my childhood to that roar of the red, white and blue sea, and the knowledge that you had two loves, the Bulldog boys and me. 20 years on, I feel that longing hanging in September air. But the reason I go every week is to pretend you're still there. And they will find the glory one day, and I will throw it at your feet. It's a long, long road they're running for you, the dogs of Footscray streets. Long, long road they're running for you, the dogs of Footscray streets.